Yeah.
Chips, eating your chips. Terrence.
Yeah, hi.
Frakes.
Are they extra crispy?
Jeff.
I'm not extra crispy.
Mahogany, if you would please just put one of those chips in your mouth and eat it while I'm recording.
Hold on a second. I gotta open.
If you're gonna open the bag, do it right in the mic.
There's a process here.
Yeah,
No, I gotta open the guacamole.
The guac.
Oh,
But no, you put
God.
guac on it, it won't
And
crunch.
then the salsa.
Oh wow, you're just moistening those chips all up, taking all
These
the
are
crunch
those
away.
lime and jalapeno chips that I talked about that needed something. I don't know if it was on this one or the other one that I was talking
So
about.
you just decided to get all the things.
Yeah.
All the goop, all the chip
Okay.
goop.
A little bit of guac, a little bit of salsa, and
Such a production.
Squish.
I swear, if you were talking when she eats that chip.
I already ate it.
She already
Oh,
ate it.
God, we
It was
didn't
the squish sound.
Oh, that's a
It
real
wasn't a
letdown.
squish. Hold on.
It was a squish in the mic.
I think the mic is. Oh, there it goes. All right, I heard it.
I think Zoom is trying to save us all from the sounds of
Like, no crunching.
no crunching. If only Matt from the other game had that technology back when we started this a year ago, or that first year, because I remember him like eating chips. I was like, dude, we're recording. Please stop eating chips. So he just moved them to where you couldn't see them on the camera. I thought, I guess they can't hear the chips anymore. I wish that's how it worked.
Their hearing is based on vision. Speaking of chips, I revisited an old standby snack of mine today. Plain tortilla chips
No, I thought you were
with
saying
melted cheese on top.
What kind of melted cheese?
Kobe Jack,
Like shredded, pre-shredded Kobe Jack?
pre-shredded Kobe Jack. Well, it's a mix. It's a Mexican mix that I got from
Yeah,
Costco.
it's
Mhm.
the stereotype mixes that they have.
it's a
Yeah.
fiesta blend, if you will.
Yeah.
No, they
it's
just say
Costco.
Mexican
It's a
blend
Mexican
cheese.
blend. Yes. But
The
see, that's-
Italian blend has fucking like oregano and shit in it. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm a little mad, Mahogany, because I said I'm about to send this link so that we could play the game. I wish that we still gamed in person, because then I could loudly eat chips without worrying about the recording. You went, yeah, that sucks. And then I came in here, set the recording up, and you went in there and set up a salsa stand. Guacamole salsa.
I was gonna ask you which chips you planned on eating, just to make sure you weren't talking about some of those tortilla chips with the salsa.
Just to make sure she ate them first.
Yeah. No, I wanted old tried and true nacho cheese Doritos.
I mean, you're grown and you know how you got a mute button.
Yeah, but I'm witty, and like if I have to hit the button to say something, the wit goes away.
I'm witty and I'm pretty and
It,
need to
it
be
takes
on.
too long for the wit, for the hit the button for the wit to stay in.
Got to be quick,
Yeah.
Like
Comedy's all about timing.
Yeah, y'all should hear some of the shit I say when I'm accidentally muted. It's pretty funny. Nobody will ever know.
I want to be big. Still one of my favorites. I can't remember what episode that was from. We were still playing the Pathfinders. Everybody gets a wish. I want to be big.
I think it's crazy how ridiculous, like, I feel like if you were a coder, it'd be very easy to code me because I have like my responses are pretty predictable to me anyway. Like when I'm listening along to listening back to an episode and I react in the exact same way as I did during the episode.
You don't
You
think
might
that's
be
like your
remembering.
memory? Yeah.
No, it's like just before I'm like, but no. And then but I'm in the other room and I'm listening to it and I'm like, but no. And I say it at the same time because I feel strongly.
You're just method. That's all. You're so method that you embody yourself when you play the game.
I guess.
She's gonna be mailing you condoms and dead rats any day now.
WHAT?
Jared Leto.
Hmm.
A lot of method actors, I don't know, they just seem to use it as an excuse to be shitty.
Parents thought that was so funny, and Franks was just so disappointed he got the reference.
Mhm. Yep.
Damn it, I know a thing.
Jared Leto. God,
America's stankiest actor.
I've
He
been
looks
eating
he smells bad.
I've been eating cantaloupe for this because it's not noisy.
Don't
Isn't
you
it?
have any more lopes in there?
I don't. I'm out of lopes.
Well, shit.
Ain't got no melons or lopes.
Get you some pineapples, pineapples.
I don't want pineapple.
I love pineapple.
There's peaches in there. Lots of
Millions.
yolks.
Do the peaches
No.
come from a can?
Yes, actually.
They were put there by a man.
Also that.
Oh God, I hate that song.
Potentially a woman.
Technically a machine.
But they were picked by hand.
See, there's a rhyme they didn't use, but I don't understand.
Did they not?
No, never once.
The song's all a blur. It came out when I was going to.
Woohoo.
Yeah, okay. That song came out when I was going to Gilbert Middle School, and Gilbert Middle School had money.
You know,
Gilbert Middle School had the TV announcements that students did in the morning. That you'd sit in your first class and watch them do what we were having for lunch today or any other announcements. And every day for that year, because that fucking song came out, they played that goddamn song. So I get to associate that with the start of a terrible day of school for an entire year of school.
That's how I feel about Anderson Cooper.
Moving right along. So
He was on our channel 1. He was on
Oh,
our
God,
early
yes.
morning news every day.
you're absolutely right. I forgot all about that.
Hmm.
hmm.
I
You
didn't.
know, it's a shame that Blur is so heavily associated with their worst song because they're not a bad band.
I mean, they're a really good band, but I mean, I'm not mad at that song because that's how I found out about them. Like, I listened to I bought the album and I was like, this is the worst song on the album, and I still like it. Heck yeah. Woo! I like it.
Yeah, I like that song too.
I don't hate it, but yeah, she's right. It's
It
the
only goes on for like a minute. Like it's
the worst song of the album.
yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about Blind Melon's No Rain.
Mhm.
They only put out one album.
But,
Yeah.
but that album had some really great songs on it.
Yeah,
It
and then
did, my
Shannon.
friend.
There was a song about making people into furniture.
No, I'm listening to Brandon Sanderson's Way of Kings. I'm in book 3 where they're talking about the Spren, which are like the gods, and how they're basically all the furniture. Everything has got a Spren in it.
Yeah, it's very is it animus? Is that the
Autonomous.
no,
Animism.
animism? Yes,
Yeah,
where
somewhere.
everything has a spirit.
Yeah. Or a dead spirit.
Yeah,
That's
Till they
why the
wake it up.
shard blades make people who are touched by the radiance hear screams. It's
Oh.
it's a really good series.
yeah,
Still
it's a
can't- I
great
still- Every
series.
time I try, I just can't get very far.
Oh,
Well, it's like
man.
I missed out on 2 books, and I was like, I couldn't remember how they went, so I re-listened to those 2 books, which is 100 hours of commitment of listening. I'm on book 3, and it's still very good, but I'm getting to the point where it's like, maybe tonight I'll just, instead of listening to that on the way home, I'll just play Static to give my brain a break.
That's kind of how I felt. I started listening to Mistborn and I just was like, why? Ugh.
Oh no, I love Mistborn.
Yeah, I found Mistborn a pretty brisk read.
I don't know. I'm like, this is just the very beginning of it. And it just feels like the book was not written for me.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's pretty bleak. Like the whole
I mean,
whole series is kind of bleak. So
it
honestly,
wasn't written specifically for you, but yeah.
Yeah, but
see
I mean,
that.
like I feel like it wasn't written from anywhere that like this is coming from the beginning of it. Like, this is kind of how I felt like reading but yeah, it was just like, why? Why is this where you choose to start? Is this what's important to you as a person in the real world, that your imagination goes there? Like, why? Why not? I don't know. It was just, it felt very,
because it matters to book 2. Yeah, that kind of.
still even that. Like, it doesn't, like, it's just like, why is this in your fantasy? Why are you fantasizing about this? What is wrong with you as a human being? That's how I feel. Like, maybe if I get a little further past that part, but it was it was just a real turn off. Just like, ugh.
I mean, what was the turnoff? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that did that to me.
I don't know. Are you talking about the part where the lady goes crazy and murders a baby?
I mean, I'm talking about the first like 10 minutes. I can't really, I'd have to play it for you. Like, I can't.
Was it so bad your brain has erased it?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. This was just like, it just did not relate, and it felt very trivial and like.
Oh, that's where the survivor, but you don't know he's the survivor yet, is going to all the hovels to talk to the people about rebellion, maybe.
It's just the way that they describe people. The way that the author chooses to describe people tells me a lot about him as a person.
that he's a 30-year-old white Mormon dude.
Yeah, I was about to say,
yeah. It definitely feels very much like, I don't consider the humanity of people. I consider other things. That's what I felt about it.
Well, he has the book has a broad outline of a pretty inhumane world.
Yeah, maybe it's not for me then, because there's enough of that in this real world. And I don't need that in my life. I can't go to sleep to that every night and wake up and fucking not slit my wrist. You got the wrong one.
That's kind of how I felt about Joel Abercrombie's series. I can't remember the name of the series itself, but the first book I believe is called The Blade Itself, and then the second book is Before They Were Hanged, and the last book is The Last Argument of Kings. And it is bleak. You follow one of the main characters is an inquisitor who every time he tortures somebody, he asks himself, why do I do this? And it's one of those that you go to sleep to that and you're like, man, I feel kind of terrible.
Yeah, I can't live like that.
Yeah, some books just feel like a job.
And that right there, Mahogany, what your sentiment right there is why I love slice of life anime more than super action shit. I don't want to watch people die. I want the lowest stakes possible.
Yeah, like, I mean, it doesn't, like, it's not that I can't, and I don't want to deal with like complex topics and issues and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, make it fun for me. Like, even if it's shitty, like, make me want to listen and feel what's going on. You know, like, make me want to see a resolution. But that just felt like,
it sounds to me like you're putting all the work on the writer. Like, maybe you should try a little.
No, it's on the writer, because like,
no, it's on the writer.
As an avid reader and listener, it's definitely on the writer. It's like, I feel like that's a first impression. Like, if that's your first impression, that's your first impression.
Mm-hmm.
You want a lot of people to put this book down.
Sometimes it's definitely on the reader, though, or not you, the reader, the person who's doing the audible version.
Yeah, yeah. But that's not it. It's not the voice. It's the content. Like, I stopped listening to the one that we played the game in Savage Worlds. I can't remember what it's called, but I stopped listening.
Monster Hunter.
I stopped listeing to that one book because of the reader, and I couldn't. Like, their voice was just like, I can't. No.
Was that Bronson Pinchot?
No, he did Hard Magic.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
the reader. I thought you stopped listening to that because the writer is Larry Correa.
Yeah, and a super right
wing.
Yeah, no, that comes out a few minutes later, but the beginning was definitely just like assaulted by a voice.
I like it because you can imagine it as a parody of a right-wing fantasy novel more.
No, I like the Monster Hunter book. I liked them.
Oh no, I like them too.
They're kind of got away from it.
Top.
But they remind me of 80s action flicks where the stakes are incredibly high, but they don't matter.
Oh yeah.
But they focus really hard on the weaponry.
Yeah, I mean it's action. It's action book jizz.
Where there's 3 pages where they discuss 3 pages of the script that's just dialogue about the weapons that they use.
I'm so glad I let that go. Right away.
I don't remember it getting that, and well, I mean, it probably did, but the
when he got his
shotgun,
the abomination,
but the abomination, yeah, it went on and on about what grain of slugs it used.
Well, he was describing his world's version of the Excalibur. You know,
yeah, I guess that's true.
Instead of a list of kings that held that stupid fucking sword, it's like, you know, how big the bullets are, how fast they shoot.
Speaking of books, though, before we get off this topic, have any of y'all read NPCs by Drew Hayes?
Yes, no. I have to finish the series though. Like I know there's more than one of them.
Yeah, it's a sword, sorcery, and stealth series, and it starts off with players sitting around a table playing a D&D analog game, and their characters blunder, and they die in the game. And then they're like, all right, well, this is why I had you make backup characters. Go ahead and pull those out. And then it cuts to the actual NPCs who were in the tavern who watched these adventurers die and realize now they have to take their place or else their village is going to be destroyed by the Mad King. And it's a fun little romp.
And eventually the NPCs reconnect with the out of IRL player characters, new characters somewhere else down the line. And I think kill them again. I'm not sure. I don't remember offhand.
No, the IRL players nat 1 on everything because of this artifact that affects the flow of.
So it breaks the fourth wall a lot intentionally.
Yes. Okay. Because the NPCs are actual living creatures in that world.
Yeah,
and the game bridges the 2 realities.
Makes me think of the movie.
Like Reboot.
Kinda.
I was thinking, what's that movie with the nice guy? Ryan Reynolds, where he's the
free guy.
Free guy. Yeah.
It's very much like that, except there's this whole world. Yeah.
I'll just watch that movie again. Be fun.
Yeah, I was thinking more. It's like an actually kind of funny version of Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever ended that story.
Well, it's never ending, so
you've seen the books to the Never Ending Story. There's definitely an end. Those books are way smaller than I thought they would be.
I've never seen the books, and I've caught like few minutes of the movie.
Oh,
that tells me
different parts.
The book that he was reading in the movie had a lot of pictures.
Yeah, all pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like I assumed that it was going to be like the size of the book in the movie, or at least like an actual novel. And a buddy of mine showed it to me, and it's more along the lines of a Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat book. It is fucking tiny.
I assumed it would be like, at least like Scholastic Book Fair size kind of book. But
Goosebumps.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta think the scenes where it cuts to Sebastian reading the book. That's gonna be like 3 lines, and then lightning struck as he read the book, shining the light on it. Back to the story.
Give me a name.
Stanky Feet. No,
Sally Struthers.
Oh God, it was the first thing you said. Princess Stanky Feet forever now.
You're welcome.
No, isn't that
Do you know Princess Stanky Feet?
No, I was thinking
Oh.
about the one where there's a kid reading a book. Isn't there another movie?
Page
With that?
Master with Macaulay Culkin.
No,
No,
that's
she's
not what I'm
thinking about,
thinking about.
The Never Ending Story 2.
No, nobody
Never
thinks
Ending
about
Story
that
3.
one. That one wasn't made. Or maybe it was. It's
It
awful.
was.
It was made, but it was so bad.
Yeah, she's thinking of Fred Savage.
Yeah,
Princess
yeah.
Bride.
Right.
Yeah. It took me forever to see that movie too.
That kid wasn't
But I finally
reading.
saw
That
it.
was Peter Falk.
Yeah, but he had to like yell out stuff, or he was yelling out things. I don't know. Anyway,
Now, apparently, the actual Princess Bride book is much thicker.
Oh yeah,
than-
I read it. It's pretty cool. It's cool in that the way it's written. Like I'm like all the parts Grandpa didn't read are in red, and it's just a bunch of boring, tedious nonsense. Some of it's actually kind of funny, but it's like the good parts version is what the book's called. The Princess Bride, the good parts version by William Goldman, and like the parts of the story from the movie are in black text, and then like the parts Grandpa, you see him like skipping past a bunch of shit. They are kind of like very tedious for a child to hear satire jokes. Like it's still a funny book throughout. It's just I think it's really funny the way it's constructed too. Anyway, go.
indeed.
I think we were done. You just kind of went away with your Princess Bride. Mr. I read the real book and look.
Look at me. Look how smart I am.
No, I found it at a fucking 50-cent bin at a flea market. I was thrilled.
Oh, look how thrifty I am. I'm thrifty and erudite. Shut up.
Ooh, fancy.
I mean, I am both of those things, but I try not to rub it in your face too much.
Is it thrift or poverty?
It's both. One breeds the other, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought a whole bunch of black beans to make black beans and rice because I'm pretty sure that's going to be my diet for a while.
Delicious.
Where did that boring fucking statement come from?
Talking about thrift.
That's not as thrifty about black beans and rice. That is
a high fiber comment, and we don't like it.
I need to poop. I need to eat. This does both.
Anyway, y'all ready?
Hang on, wait. Let me start the playlist. Okay,
Been ready.
Okay, all right.
To shuffle.
Raiders of the Lark 2.0 was brought to you by Star Gallery Micro Hollow Beauty Projectors. A miracle of light and color. Be your most beautiful at a moment's notice with Star Gallery's exclusive line of programmable cosmetic holograms available exclusively at your licensed Star Gallery outlet.
Pretty clever idea, actually.
The drift fades away behind you. It has been, I'm going to roll today.
It's been.
No.
It's been 16 days in the drift.
That does not fit with the melody of the song at all.
No, it doesn't.
We could force it, but let's not.
After you left Vandal Star with your newly acquired companion, Anderson Lubricant Dark Matter, you have decided to call her Andy. As a guide to help you recover the missing data that is possibly in the holosphere where your friend's consciousness has been stored. Now, she said she had contacts with her group, but it will be somewhat circuitous to make sure we can acquire things. They aren't exactly the most well-funded organization. In fact, we're hardly an organization at all. We don't really have a name, though. Pure Virgil calls us the what was it? The constructed persons underground. I think he thinks that's some sort of joke.
Man, he really missed the ball with consortium.
Well, we don't.
Consortium?
No, constructed persons underground. You think the acronym? I believe he thinks the acronym is some. He's very keen on jokes. Pure Virgil.
I like that one.
But
Pure Virgil.
it was wise of you to take me instead. Mainly because I can hold a blaster, and I can actually talk to people without alienating them through offensive humor. Also, why is this cat bothering me?
That is just what he does.
Hey, you got a cool new robot. Awesome, wonderful. Hey, robot, I need some help with my area. There's been a little bit of a malfunction, and I need somebody to do a little scooping. If you can do a little, I mean, okay, you can just walk away. That's fine. What's with your robot? I think it's broken.
I think it's been programmed to pick up cat shit.
Well, looks like that falls to you, friend.
Look, man, if you can have a fucking conversation with me, you can clean your own shit up.
I don't even have thumbs, you bastard.
It's the future. You figure it out.
Don't we have a device that you could just push a button and it recycles it and runs it down into our fuel storage?
I know, but I started throwing chizzard bones down it.
That sounds like a you problem.
Well, it's going to be a you problem once that system backs up because it's connected to your septic.
I pick that cat up and take it and throw it in the acid pit. Fuels the ship. We've got a robot now.
Recycle the cat.
Fine, I'll deal with it. Jesus. Asking for a little help. Can't even support your captain, he says as he walks away. But as you exit drift space into, let's see, where are my notes? Scroll up. There you go. You have set course for the Evragon system, looking for the planet Jeeks. Evragon itself, and Jeeks in particular, is a world of high finance and corporate mastery. A place that is utterly, basically, just completely co-opted by big business. The planet doesn't even really have cities anymore. They're all connected via public transport and basically just 100% connectivity, which is good because there's not a lot of actual land mass on Jeeks. Most of it is monopolized by cityscape, and everything else is mildly acidic sea. There are numerous ships docked in and around, and the orbit of Jeeks. Jeeks itself also has a problem with parking, like most financial districts. And so that in order to actually access the planet, one must park their vessel at one of the hundreds of space docks that orbit the world. Anderson, lubricant dark matter, though you guys, I believe, decided to call her Andy last session, correct?
I think so.
Correct.
How did we not go with Luby?
Hey, Lube.
Says she already made the accommodations for parking as soon as they got in system.
You are much more helpful than Pure Virgil would be, I'm sure.
It's true. I don't even think he knows how to access an inner system transmission. Well, anyway, She gives you your parking slip and tells you which space platform to head towards. And the place is almost entirely automated as you approach. Once your computers ping off theirs, a beam flies out across the way and begins to expertly guide you in. It doesn't pull, it's not a tractor beam, but it is basically a guidance beacon to make things easier on you. So parking's a snap. Now, once you're there, though, things get a little bit more complicated. A picture appears on your view screens. A sort of a otter-like creature pops up. Says, "Welcome to Planet Jeeks. Would you care to state your business to customs?"
Buying and selling.
Do you have a cargo manifest for us?
We are the cargo, and we'll be buying.
Okay. Labor. Got it. The little otter-like creature begins to busily work on his computer. Andy cuts the sound and says, "I'm going to be honest with you here. This is going to take a bit of work. We need to get down to the planet before I can even begin to try to contact my contacts. So if you have anything you want to do, please proclaim it now, and I'll do the work I have to do when we're down there." They generally like to know where you're going, at least initially. You could probably scatter after you're down there. They don't really monitor it very heavily as long as you're not being disruptive.
Okay, cut one thing back on. And we'll give them a list of the gear and stuff that we plan on selling, and we wish to purchase cyberware and other equipment.
All right. The otter-like creature basically sends a couple of signals your way, and Andy records them. Says, "I will make all arrangements for transport down. Thank you, sir. Thank you." And he disappears. And he says, "There are a number of shopping districts, but I think some of the things you want, at least according to what you've talked about on our trip so far, are not things you are going to find on any shopping list somewhere, particularly you, Mr. Geist. Necrographs aren't exactly legal on many worlds. Or at least installing them aren't."
Well, I don't need it installed. I just need it upgraded.
Right. So we'll work on finding you a person to do that as soon as we're down there. You guys hear a tone, and another voice echoes across your vessel. "Welcome, crew of..." There's a pause. "The Gambit. You are now free to board to Planet Jeeks."
So I am under the understanding, I say to Andy, that we will be needing to find accommodations on the surface.
Once we get down there and I find the proper district that we need to end up with, I will make accommodations for us, if that is okay. I am well versed in what humanoids particularly value in terms of comfort. I spent many years as a executive assistant robot, many other functions.
But what my main thrust of my question is, we will not be able to come back to our ship.
Well, whenever you're done.
Yes, but we won't be able to come and go, is what I mean.
Yes, I suppose, though it is a hassle to get up and down. It's probably better to stay on the planet for the duration of what we're doing. But it's not out of the question, and I don't mind the extra work. though it will lengthen various processes.
Have we got a list of stuff that we're going to go ahead and sell?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we getting rid of the powered armor?
Were you not going to use it?
No, not that powered armor. No.
Well, I mean, selling stuff's not a.
I know.
You know.
But this is Jeff we're talking about.
He's going to nickel and dime his campaign.
Yeah, but we could keep all this stuff and then use it to get the. Basically, you sell it when you craft stuff in space.
Mm-hmm. Get the UPBs of it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
All right, then what you're looking for here is places to buy upgraded gear or new augmentations, weapons, things like that.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. The ship's basically the doorways of the ship open, leading you out into a vast walkway where you see numerous hundreds of people just strolling by in both directions, and you see there's a sort of a clear tram that runs slowly throughout the orbital platform. It stops as people approach it, and you see the platform itself immediately begins to monitor you. You know that by basically a series of lights that basically lead you to where you're going. Like as soon as you step out, you see a small indication of your ship's name and an arrow projected onto the floor, or in some cases, the person next to your shoulder as they walk in front of it.
So when going into a largely populated place like this, people have made precautions. Their mind weave is now opaque.
All right.
They're wearing boots and just pretty much covered from head to toe.
Okay.
Nice little hooded, long, loose hood.
You see,
doesn't want any potential trouble.
You're trying to go clandestine, or at least not trying to attract attention. And you see numerous people also not trying to attract attention. And you see numerous people of all kinds of species just moving in and around this platform. The arrows lead you to the one of the trams, which stops immediately in front of you as you approach. It irises open, seemingly out of nowhere. Just solid plastic or glass-looking surface that just opens up. Welcome.
We board, I assume.
Yeah. And it begins to slowly move you guys through the platform. And it doesn't take as long as you probably think it should, just from like the whole place is operating at peak efficiency today. And finally, the tram spirals into the center of the platform where you're offloaded again, or rather, your tram car disconnects from the rest of the tram, slides toward basically a central tunnel where you see numerous bands of both energy and sturdy materials begin fastening itself to it, and you realize you guys are going to the surface via space elevator. Immediately, you are launched out the bottom of the orbital platform, and you get to see the whole process of falling.
A space glass elevator. That's neat.
Yep. From space to the planet's surface. Or rather, as close to surface as I can get, after just seeing probably the most like spectacular view you've ever seen in your life of a planet up close. Eventually cloud cover takes over and you can see less, and then finally you can see even less as you enter the top end of a cityscape. You're just descending downward through massive skyscrapers all around you. Big, beautiful edifices, monuments to capitalistic excess. As you go further and further down, the buildings get less grandiose, but definitely more crowded. and you sink further and further into the city itself, and finally you get to a more street level where you can see flying vehicles moving in a rough line through the traffic lanes. And finally you get to the disembarking bay itself. Once you guys land, the energy restraints and the physical ones retract, and your whole tram basically pops like a bubble, revealing it to be nothing but an energy construct itself. The attendant down there waves you out, hurry along, more coming after you, opening you up into the city/planet of Jeeks.
So this is like Coruscant level planet.
Yeah, but it's got more open space outside the cities. It doesn't cover the entire city. It's just got a lot of city on the land, and everything else is basically open ocean with public transport going across.
Acidic ocean.
Yeah, mildly acidic ocean. They make sure to point that out in the tourist brochures. It's mildly acidic.
Probably great for your skin.
Oh yes, definitely a good exfoliant for about 2 hours. Do not swim any longer.
Okay, so we are here. Let's be about our business.
Cool. So, does anybody have any specific goals for purchasing items or meeting up with people?
Yes, I want to purchase personal upgrade.
Oh, okay. Wait, actually, I have one more question. Did you take your cat?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it too.
Then the cat begs you, please don't kill the radio this time. What if I need to get a hold of you?
Well,
Tell him, look, cat, we'll kill the radio if we need to. Otherwise, we won't.
Fine. I know when I'm being ignored. I know when I'm not appreciated. I'm just gonna go in here to my room. Oh God, it smells. I'm going to your room.
If it's a life and death situation, Marcus, we will turn the radio off. The last thing we need in the middle of a gunfight or a hiding mission is for you to ping us asking us to bring you treats.
I don't always ask you to bring me treats. Sometimes I ask for toys. Now, but yeah, so you abandoned the cat on the ship still.
I will tell him I'll leave it on for mine on for him.
Thank you.
But I will also put
Civilized.
on the infosphere thing so he can watch movies and stuff while we're gone.
Oh, well, then you probably won't hear much out of him if you connect him to the local TV.
Yep.
Excuse me. Sorry. Still kind of coffee from my...
Yeah, but it was only off before because it was jammed when we were trying to jam other people's signals, right?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
it's also signals just is shit in the drift.
Yeah. So, relax, cat.
Very well.
I'm trying to go through some of this loot that we took down just to see what it would be if we sold it. Just a quick, like, did anybody take the Thunderstrike pistol?
Yes.
Okay. The advanced plasma bolter?
Yes.
The squad machine gun?
Didn't need that one.
No.
Thunderstrike pulse gauntlet?
No.
Frostbite class 0 rifle?
Nope.
The power armor with jump jet, we talked about that already. The enforcer armor 1 with the jump jet.
I believe you guys harvested the jump jets, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we all got enough for every one of us to get a jump jet.
And
Yeah.
then I broke my jump jet down to make a jetpack,
Right.
Mhm.
which is why I'm kind of broke now. But the power armor, no. The enforcer armor, nobody took. That's it, really. So it's really just those 3 guns and 2 things of armor. Okay.
All right. So you said you wanted a personal augmentation. What sort? Cybernetic, mystical?
We'll do the symbiote.
Symbiote. Oh, biological. All right. Andy says she can make arrangements for anything within a certain legality without too much effort. Luckily, symbiotic augmentations are not a problem here, as are cybernetic. You may have trouble locating someone to do a mystical one, and you might have to use any kind of. I might have to lean into black market connections to get your necrograft upgrade.
It's only if it is feasible.
Oh, it's feasible here. It's just who you know.
I mean, money-wise.
Ah.
I have just enough to buy one at standard market price. If it's more than that, I will not be able to.
We'll see what we can do. She walks over to a communication terminal where you see there's a bunch of there's a line of people basically just waiting, essentially like probably poor people who are here for some various business reasons or whatever that don't exactly have an up-to-date defense, like up-to-date armor with integrated comm units like you guys. Or people that just don't bother with that sort of thing, and since they don't live in places where convenience is inconvenient, so they're more than happy to wait in line. She gets in line too. She's like, she basically is communicating you over your comm units after she splits off from the group. I have to do some arrangements here. We will have transport at no cost.
Nice.
That's handy. Is that transport to our accommodations?
General transport.
Mhm.
And after she returns about 20 minutes later, where you guys are looking at, it's basically a huge train terminal, basically, of people just going and coming. She says, "Follow me." And you guys exit out into the open air of the city. The city has a peculiar smell. It is not like a filthy place by any stretch of the imagination, but the general kind of just sort of like a tang to the air here on Jeeks. And you can see that it actually takes its toll on the structures here. There's a lot, like, people work constantly here on Jeeks to basically paint over or keep things from rusting or decaying at the slow rate it would in this kind of high acid environment. She says, "Don't worry, there's not much in the way of acid rain. Most of that is filtered out through normal evaporative processes. But once the city was built, the mildly acidic nature of this planet has been augmented, despite what the travel brochures may tell you." And you see her basically hit a switch on her shoulder, and a small field begins to glow around her body. Just a little extra protection for myself.
Do we have to be concerned about this affecting our suits?
Only if you're here for more than a year.
Okay.
I'll cast life bubble on everybody.
Okay. You see numerous sleek and expensive-looking cabs lined up all along the edge of the this upper platform of the station here, and basically as they hover up to the side, you can see that the city drops down even lower. As more and more traffic you hear zooming underneath you. She looks around, and you see her point, and there's an expensive looking limousine pulling up to the station. She says, "There."
Oh. Right.
Go on.
Yeah, we do.
All right. As you approach the limousine, it takes off, and you see a smaller vessel parked next to it. It's sort of like a bus, a jalopy, if you will, brightly painted, and with "Happy Cab" written on the side. Our ride is here.
Hey.
The door opens up, revealing basically just a cab that can accommodate maybe 12 people sitting on three or three and a half rough benches. In the cab, you see a robot jutting up out of the front seat. Where to, Mac?
Andy, this is kind of your show. Where are we going?
We have numerous destinations, and she gives a quick, like a blurt of information at the robot. The robot turns around and its eyes flash for a moment. You see its head nod, and basically you guys feel the gravity give out from underneath you as the bus drops 2 levels through traffic, and then picks up again and begins puttering along. Andy turns to you. This is Fanny 56, one of our agents.
Oh. Good evening, Fanny.
A speaker over the bus answers your call. Well, hey there, how's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see y'all too. Glad we get more fleshopoids in the into the cause.
Everyone with sentience deserves freedom.
Oh, well, you know what? That's what I say too. Excuse me, who the hell do you think you are? Burr, burr, burr. You see that the robot in the driver's seat has powered down. It's a puppet for the most part. Fanny is the cab. She tells you, she asks where you, she mentions that the first place we're going to stop is a shopping district. You guys seem to have a lot on your mind. Going that way, and we will deal with that right now. However, I don't know much about this necrograph thing. You're probably going to have to hit the streets. We don't really traffic with that kind of stuff. Eventually, after a short and vigorous flight to the city, you guys are let out at a very well-stocked looking shopping district, though I wouldn't call it the highest class. And I'm going to need you guys to give me a diplomacy to gather information, trying to find a connection in that fairly illegal trade.
Could I use culture or profession bounty hunter to recall knowledge about
I'll let you use the profession check. That seems like something that bounty hunters would be hooked into.
Oh, wow, that is so much worse than my actual diplomacy. So I'll just gather some information.
Okay.
Well, not so much worse. It's a point different. Dirty 20, natural 16.
All right. While Essex handles his genet or his bioware, I guess is what it is, boils down to, right?
Yeah, and it takes an hour to install.
What are you getting installed, incidentally?
Dex boost.
Oh, okay, cool. Getting all kind of like move by wire shit going.
I want something.
Oh, what do you want? Think about it while I talk with Frakes here. Geist, you begin searching around and begin descending lower and lower into the city, the shopping area, looking for the diviest dive you can find, looking for the right kind of people. People give you a wide berth here. You have a look about you.
Mm.
And of course, everyone seems to believe that Drow are, for some reason, hooked into, illegal arms trade and many other things like that. I don't know where
Legal arms trade. Morally ambiguous, but legal.
Okay. But eventually you'll find what we call your people. You find an orc tending bar that looks you up and down and gives you the nod, gives you just whispers in your ear a place you can go. He says it's not on this continent. It's not in this district.
Hmm.
You gotta take like a 2-hour flight across the ocean, but I know a guy.
Is he a good guy?
He is a good enough guy for this area, and because otherwise you're gonna have to go to Eox or something for some.
Yes, that's what I was worried about.
But don't worry, he's a native of there, so try not to mention it. He's sensitive and he's trying to lay low.
I can only imagine what that's like.
Well, actually, it's pretty easy. He's got a couple of them. He's got some of them, holographic makeup machines, but he's got it to make him look normal, funny.
No, I just meant the laying low because you're not at your home world anymore.
Well, he's dead and all, and people tend to look down on you if you're not alive.
Close-minded people, yes.
Correct. I say so. Absolutely.
What is the name of this establishment that I'm in?
Let's see. This is Blunt's.
Blunt's. And
Yep.
Are you the titular Blunt's?
No, that's my cousin, Blunt.
And you are?
Erg.
Erg. Very nice to meet you. And I will mark that name down in my memory.
There you go. Blunt's Tavern.
Blunt's Tavern with Erg the bartender. Okay. I appreciate your time.
He's I'd appreciate your a little, grease in the palm here.
I was about to say that I will slide him 2 credits.
2 credits. Big spender, eh?
Oh, you find a penny, pick it up.
he's like, yeah. Drow. Anyway, have fun.
You as well. Stay safe, Erg.
Why do you think I'm working on this side of town?
Okay, so while y'all did that, I did something.
Okay, what'd you get?
So I didn't buy anything. I took all the stuff we didn't want and sold it.
Okay.
But instead of just getting credits for it, I got it as UPBs.
Okay.
All right.
UPBs we could use. Obviously, you could use them to cover the cost of crafting anything, but they are also I was reading used as currency where cred sticks wouldn't be applicable.
Oh, okay. So it's good to have some.
It's good. It's just good to have some. So I'm going to keep the UPBs on my character sheet, but that's going to be our party fund.
Party
I think our
loots.
party fund will just be our UPBs.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh God, it's crypto. It's fucking crypto.
It's crypto.
Start finding crypto.
Oh, no, read about it. Each UPB is a tiny multifunction component, not much larger than a grain of rice, capable of being configured to act as a brace, capacitor, circuit, diode, fastener, insulator, lens, modulator, pipe, resistor, and dozens of other constituent parts. UPBs can even be spun out into fabric, broken down into component chemicals. It's basically just a little grain of rice that you could mush and turn into things.
Oh, it's like Fantastic Four. It's unstable molecules. It's basically
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if you play Warhammer 40K and you model stuff, it's green stuff.
Green stuff.
Yeah, it's the plastic thread from the 3D printer.
Yeah.
Actually, I just realized that I had Defrex armor in my stash, so I'm going to go ahead and sell that before I go handle the bar. And I will give
Okay.
the bartender 7 credits.
All right. You got a similar but not quite as enthusiastic reaction.
I mean, that's literally like today, somebody walking up to you and going, "Here's a nickel." Like that is where you're at. That's where your exchange rate is right now. Here's a nickel.
Spend that all in one place, sonny boy.
You taught him a valuable lesson. Money up first, front for information.
That's what I'll say too. This isn't about the money. This is about a lesson learned.
Later. Ride safe, prick. Are you gonna be a regular? You gonna be that regular at this bar?
I hope not.
the cheapskate regular. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's the guy." It's me at a bar, actually.
Let me get a PBR.
Ugh. Okay, that ain't me at a bar. I will spend money on a decent drink. Maybe even into my tipping money. So there's less of it.
I know what I want.
All right, what are you getting?
I want some biotech. I want a trying to get back to it to make sure I get the name right. Had to look through every augmentation. And of course it starts with a B. Blinding ink sac. I want one of those.
You want to be the dinosaur from Jurassic Park?
Oh no! Well, I mean, sort of, yeah. It'll come out of my wrist.
Okay.
Oh, it's like
And
a
a-
gross Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna huck a
15
demon
foot
loogie on people.
cone,
Oh wow.
and I can use it even if I'm wielding something in that hand. All sighted creatures in the cone must succeed at a reflex throw or gain the blinded condition for 1d4 rounds.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Of course, they can wipe their eyes as a standard action to end the condition early, but you know.
It still takes up something.
Exactly. The way I'm seeing it is Weep's a little jumpy. So don't sneak up on them or you might get inked.
Oh, you made me ink.
Oh, I inked everywhere. I'm sorry. Oh God, this never happens to me.
Yeah. But I can use it once every like I have to rest before I can use it again.
All right.
So
You got a minute to rebuild your toxic wrist goo. Wrist mist.
Wrist mist.
All right.
or I could spend a resolve point. Haha.
All right, so you and Essex are basically spending several hours going under an outpatient procedure, while
A surgery spa.
yes, at a moderate mid-scale surgery spa. Meanwhile, Valgorth is basically converting gear to
UPBs.
UPS. What are they called again?
UPBs.
UPBs.
Ups.
Yes.
He's
And-
basically throwing gear into a shredder.
Yeah.
My question for you is: are you going to wait for your companions before you go seeking out your augmentation, or are you going to just head there on your own?
Me? No. We're all riding together.
True, you do have a cab waiting.
I'm not gonna leave them unless. Well, we all have comms, so
Yeah, you can talk to them at any time.
I have a lead on the augmentation that I wish to get, but it is 2 hours drive over the ocean. Are you all going to be occupied for that length of time, or should I wait until you have finished your business?
I imagine
is
it
this
doesn't take
before or
Valgorth,
after?
doesn't take Valgorth very long to do his business, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not haggling or anything. Plus, I can haggle. Can I haggle? Can I get
You
more?
could. I'd do a roll.
I went for the 10%, which is already a house rule,
Yeah.
or a recommended house rule from the book. But yeah,
I'd let you haggle it up a little if you want.
I'll throw. What do you want, a bluff or a diplomacy?
Whatever you're using.
Bluff.
All right.
Oh, 24.
24. Okay. I will give you an additional 10% on these UPBs.
Sweet.
Woo.
So 20%. Nice. And I imagine that my conversation with Erg didn't last that long.
No.
So I'll meet up
Mostly
with.
you get the impression he was trying to get you out of his bar.
Yeah. But he
It's
did
kinda-
give me coordinates, right?
Yeah, he gave you an address and a name. I won't bother to say the address because I'm not going to make up an address on the fly, but
Right.
the name is sorry.
Go ahead.
The name is, you're looking for a fellow named Dirk.
Dirk. Like the blade.
No, DURQUE,
Hmm.
like the name.
Like the very pretentious spelling of the name.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's pretty common here. There's Dirks everywhere. Like there's our waitress, Dirk. There's our local barfly, Dirk.
But yeah, I'll
Like-
meet up with Valgorth.
All
You know,
right.
with me for what? You want me to hold your hand while you go get your implants?
That's what I giggled. I was like, I just an image of all four of us holding hands like a group of school children walking through this
You're-
place.
You're the only one who is not currently occupied with surgery.
Mm.
All right then. You two get into Fanny 56. Welcome back, boys. Where to?
I will input the address.
Ooh, that's a trip. All right. Buckle in. The cab takes off and flies higher up than basically the rest of traffic. You see that there is a special lane for oceanic flight high above the regular city's traffic. And you guys are basically taking a straight shot as her guidance systems basically frighteningly moves you through traffic that is crossing each other at various angles and speeds. And when you get to the flight lane, you can see that there is also some sort of energy beam being broadcast that way that everyone seems to get into, and her speed significantly increases.
Ooh.
The little kind of raggedy cab zooms across the ocean. You guys are the only thing the only thing probably stopping you guys from feeling the high pressures of speed. You know that you've probably broken the sound barrier in under a couple of minutes. Is probably just the cab's internal gravity. You see just like little streaks of color as you guess that there's some sort of flying creatures are zooming by you, and before you know it, like the whole world changes from daylight to dark as you cross that orbit line. Excuse me. 2 hours of this breakneck speed ends just as it began with you guys coming out of the speed. You feel just a slight movement, a sway in your body as the gravitic forces being generated battle with natural gravity. And Fanny drops into another cityscape below you, now brightly lit for nighttime.
I appreciate you coming with me. I don't know if this is a trustworthy establishment, but it's better to have backup than none.
Sure.
Right.
What are we here for?
My augmentation upgrade.
Oh. Probably had that conversation in the 2-hour car ride.
That's my guess as well. Either that, or it was just we were just pushed back and we couldn't have a conversation.
Like those fucking rods at the fair.
Yeah,
Just stick you to the wall.
the gravitron.
The gravitron.
So yeah, we go there to the address.
All right. You basically sink further into this city than you had in the previous one. You go through the executive level, down to the normal middle class areas with the shops and the busy traffic, and finally down to probably almost close to land itself. But eventually you stop with enough darkness looming below you that you can't see, but you know that you can't be too far from the surface, at a place called Chain Sword Sal's. Here you see all sorts of gangers and lowlifes hanging out in front of what appears to be a bar, a nightclub. Difficult to tell. There's a lot of music and a lot of noise, and you see a couple of brawls out on the streets as you're let out. Fanny 56 says, I'm going to park a couple levels up. Here's my signal if you need to call me. And
Thank
she
you,
broadcast that to your comms. The cab takes off upwards, leaving you guys on the streets.
Go in.
Yeah,
All
This
right.
doesn't phase me.
Okay.
same.
Chainsword Sal's appears to be sort of an exhibition of both nudity and violence, where strippers of various species are doing tricks with primitive and modern weaponry as part of their routines, their dance routines. The music here is loud and abrasive. Everyone here they have a smells bad look about them. And you guys, you with your well-kempt, well-heeled suits, and you being probably the smallest person in here, Valgorth, are getting a serious looking over as you come in. What are you heading toward? There's a bar, there's a dance floor. You don't see anything that looks like a surgical center.
I guess I'll go to the bar.
Sure. You find this bar is actually tended by a number of species. A Vesk looks to be the one in charge. He also seems to be the most well dressed of them, in that the makeshift battle armor that he's wearing as part of his gear down here, it seems to be in the best condition. Everybody else seems to be wearing a combination of kind of punkish rags and bits and pieces of scavenged armor. But the Vesk seems to be unapproachable, just standing there with his arms crossed, watching the floor. You're guessing he might be a manager or something. You actually see another drow elf, however, at the tending bar. Come on.
I will retract my light vision shades and look at him and say, I am looking for Dirk.
He looks at you for a moment. Says, Dirk? Yeah, we got a Dirk. Who wants to know?
Then I will take off my glove and show my necro hand, a customer.
He licks his teeth and you see his eyes flick toward the Vesk at the far end of the bar, just looking everyone over. He gets some sort of signal that you can't tell what it is and says, yeah, all right. He says, Dirk don't like people bringing their piece in, though.
Do you have a weapon check?
Yeah, give it to Sal when you go through. He points to a curtain at the far end of the dance floor. Just work your way through there. Somebody will be waiting to take your gun. Just warning you, don't shoot him.
Fair enough. I approach the curtain.
All right. You move your way to the dance,
slowly.
approaching the curtain. When you flick the curtain aside, you see that Sal is a woman of middling years, sitting on a stool, smoking and looking over. She coughs for a moment. Hey, you here
Hello.
for Dirk?
I am.
She kicks basically a tin drum out from behind the little alcove that she's sitting in. She's like, "Weapons in here, both of you."
How about this? And I will slowly draw out my Thunderstrike pistol and hand it over to Valgorth.
Oh, I'm with you. I take his gun and I turn around and leave.
All right. Whatever.
I
she
come back to
says.
the bar and start drinks.
All right.
No,
The drinks here?
I am keeping my holdout pistol.
All right. Well, make a stealth check to hide it for me.
Okay.
I'm hoping with a name like Holdout Pistol, it helps hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's actually got a bonus to that before I commit to this bit. Well, it doesn't really say anything about that. I should have thought about this beforehand, huh?
Well, you just
All
got to
right.
make a normal stealth check to hide it on your person.
All right. Let me get to my thingamajig. Stealth check. Sleight of hand or stealth?
Yeah, sleight of hand. That's probably a better idea.
25.
All right. Yeah. You squirrel your weapon away,
I keep it in my boot.
giving the more obvious one to Valgorth as he goes to the bar and pounds the incredibly abrasive drinks amongst the incredibly abrasive music. They
Figured
play,
you might like it here.
gunk rock here.
Ooh, gunk rock.
As you enter the area indicated by Sal after tossing your weapon to Valgorth, she points to a curtain and says, "He's waiting. Just he's got a customer. Come back out and wait."
I'll wait until it's my turn.
You peek in and you see nobody there other than a lean human-looking fellow with a sort of flawless tan skin, curly hair. He's got sort of like a I guess an emo eyeliner look about him.
Sort of uncanny valley, or is it?
Yeah. Something looks a little unnatural about him. Like his skin doesn't quite move with him. Like he looks. You can't tell what's underneath the disguise he has, but you can tell he is wearing one. He turns and says, "Oh, hey, customer, come on in."
You a duck?
That I am. You see, he reaches over and cuts a holovision off. He says, I don't know."
Yes, I did not receive this augmentation from you.
Okay. Are you changing it out? He begins putting on some thick leather gloves or thick rubber gloves. Let me see the damage.
And I will disconnect the sleeve of my suit, my D-suit, and show the necro arm. And
this quality work.
Slowly extend the bone blade so as not to alarm him.
Oh, that's cute. I know what you're here for.
Yes, a Mach 2 would be most beneficial.
Let me see what I got. He disappears into a side room, and you hear clanging around. You hear things opening and closing. He's like, "Aha! Okay, yeah, we're good. Have you got the money?" Is the question. He says. He comes out with the various equipment.
I do, yes.
He plunks down a small machine and says, "Just plop your cred stick in there, and we'll double check."
Now I'll put it in there and upload 4,000 credits.
Hey, I do like somebody that doesn't like to haggle. Makes my job a lot easier.
I figure if I try to fight you on the cost, you might skimp on the quality.
Oh no. I never skimp on the quality. It's what makes being stiff so infuriating. He sits down and says, "Excuse me. Am I out of sync? You're looking at me weird."
I'm not actually.
Nah, you are.
My light shades are down. You can't even see my eyes.
Trust
I'll
me.
I'll pop them up. No, I'm looking at you as my future surgeon.
Right. But am I out of sync is the question.
At a sink?
Yeah. He points to the air and you can just see a tiny microbead of light orbiting his head.
Oh, out of sync. Slightly. Your skin seems to move somewhat slower than your face.
Shit, I knew buying these used was gonna bite me in the ass. All right, hold on. He goes back into the back room again, several minutes this time, and you hear a lot more swearing. And finally, he comes back out again, looking like a normal human.
That's better.
Good. Everybody likes to fuck with me here, you know? Everybody, let's fuck with the dead guy.
I understand. In my mind, if you have sentience, you are entitled to freedom.
Sound like one of them goddamn robot activists. Sit down.
And I will sit down.
The way I see it, if you had a soul to begin with, then you're good. I don't know. If they stick it in with you as after you're built, I don't think that's right.
I don't even know if I have one.
Oh, an atheist, huh? You know. Once you get into a state like I am, it makes you a bit more philosophical about the whole isn't there an afterlife? Baby, I'm in it.
Yes. But I could see how you would have a distinctly different outlook than I.
He says, "Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. I'm wearing gloves. You ain't got to worry about any of the side effects of touching me. It's cool." And he begins immediately to work. The procedure is short. He removes the old necrograph. You see him pull out a few templates of ritualistic text and begin chanting them in an ominous intonation. The enhanced bone blade begins to meld with your necrographic arm and then finally retracts completely into it. At the same time, the ring pops on again. Now, in the past few weeks, you've realized that it was under your control mentally. The fancy holographic ring that for some reason is on this hand.
Right.
It pops on again, and the guy looks down and says, "Woo! Why would you put that on a necrograph? That is so expensive. Are you a high roller? Are you down on your luck? Is that what this is? Should I have charged more?"
No, I am. I believe this was a joke.
That's an expensive joke, pal.
Yes.
And he looks at you again. He's like, "You look so familiar. I don't know what it is." Anyway.
Well, you know, Drow, we are so secretive. You've seen one, you think you've seen another.
Oh, okay. Well, you can take your internalized racism and head on out, buddy. But make sure you recommend me to your friends.
I certainly will.
The
and I will extend it just a couple times just to check it.
Works fine.
Nice. Yes. Good work.
Meanwhile, Valgorth, you've been out in the bar for a while. How many drinks? Are you a drink pounder or a drink nurser?
Nope, I'm just drinking, so I look like I'm supposed to be there.
All right. Occasionally, you'll get like a few cracks from across the room. Like there isn't much in the way of like smaller races here or species here. But it looks like as soon as somebody starts making fun of somebody says the L word, you see the Vesk in charge give them a very stern look, and they go back to what they were doing. But after that, shortly after that, all that, while you're nursing your drink, you come across a news item on one of the holovisions in the bar. Now you can't hear anything because the noise here is just too bad. But you see the flickering images and like the Channel Infinity logo pops up, and on Channel Infinity has like stations all over pack space and the near space areas, but this localized Channel Infinity cuts to what appears to be probably, if you were a judge of this sort of thing, the most stunningly beautiful elven woman you've ever seen, crying on screen, giving an interview. And then you then it cuts to what appears to be a still image of 4 people holding a drow hostage with and then once the still image goes like activates, you see one of them, a masked small reptilian creature, begin pointing and gesticulating at the camera. Meanwhile, another small creature looks to be somewhat plant-like in her disguise, does the same thing. Meanwhile, a dwarf and another taller masked figure nod, and you see the taller masked figure pull his gun out and shoot the dark elf in the head. Blood splatters all over whatever camera device was used to take the footage, and then it cuts back to the crying elven woman, and then you see Chiron underneath, I guess, saying, reward raised to 10,000 credits. And then it goes back to whatever sports program it was.
Instantly hop on my data pad and start looking up how to get that 10,000 credits and who those people are. And how did they look familiar?
They look like y'all. It looks like y'all, except for Weepskeep is much smaller than she is now. Like, they look very familiar, except for the dwarf, who you've only seen as, well, a corpse.
And it looks like they shot me.
Yes.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, I'm gonna look up, and if I could just figure out how to turn Geist in for the money, that's what I'm going for.
You begin looking into it. Make computers check, I guess, if you're trying to just find or actually a culture check to try and navigate the local.
Hey, that's better.
Navigate the local kind of like networks and infospheres.
19.
19?
Yeah.
All right. Now that you've begun looking in earnest, you've got some images in your head. You find out that someone named. Hold on. Oh gosh, these notes are so buried. Oh, I gotta. Sorry. Oh my god, I lost them. Where are they at? Okay, there you go. You find a local, I guess, celebrity, a woman, an elven woman called Princess Tanet Imbara. You find numerous articles about her still being grieving over her kidnapped husband. And and how she's been desperately seeking the kidnappers and then later murderers as you go back and checking over the timeline. Starting off with a 25,000 credit reward, 50,000 now, recently upgraded to 100,000 reward, leading to the arrest of these 4 murderous kidnappers. And it's all local to Jeeks.
Take that, I'll take that news program and send it to Weep and send it to Grim. What are we calling you?
Oh, you still call me Grim. That's my call
Grim.
sign.
Yeah, and to Grim, and let them know like Geist is still like being worked on. So like people think he's dead, but they probably also might think that we did it. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to use this to get that 100,000 K. ... question mark, and that's the text.
All right, you guys, Weep and Grim, you guys see this horror show played out in front of your HUD. And what are your thoughts? Actually, I'm just curious.
Actually, I'm going to do a deep dive into the local net and try basically uncover anything celebrity wise about her and Geist, like dive into it. So like I know Geist is alive, so why would he ask us to murder him or something, or make it look like we murdered him to get out of a marriage? Look into it and see what's going on with that. Try to do a deep dive into that and try to figure out what's going on.
All right. Give me a culture check for me, since you're deep diving this particular.
Okay. Rolled an 18 plus 13, so 31.
Okay, I'll get back to you in just a sec. Weep, what are your thoughts on this before I go further with Jeff?
Thought number 1, damn, I was cute. Let's see. Thought number 2, like, yeah, why? Like, he's obviously alive. Who would do this? Who would do this to us? So, I don't think Weep is that smart, but would probably be definitely like, yeah, that's definitely not me, but it is me. But I didn't do that because he's still here. So what's happening?
All right.
And hold on real quick.
Okay.
Terrence, because of my investigator thing and about a case, I get a -5 DC to gather information related to the case. And my case was about our background, about what happened to us.
Okay.
So since this might be tied to that, maybe I should be able to get the -5 DC to that.
Okay. Then you quickly, after you're still basically just sitting there recovering from your surgery while you're checking out the data sphere here. You find basically a whole story of a person named Princess Tanet Imbara. She is not a princess. Her name is Princess Tanet Imbara. She is on this planet basically an influencer, like a celebutante, a person famous for being famous. She's also been married several times over the years, and for some reason, all her husbands keep dying tragically. Then you get to the part where she falls in love again, a whirlwind romance with a mysterious dark elf. And you see like paparazzi photos of them together doing fun things, like going to the beach. There's going to the carnivals, the opera, just a whirlwind romance of excess and the high life, where she is treating this person, this person to be Geist, and basically just going with a fucking romance montage of a life for like 3 weeks, and then they are married. There's pictures all over the net here. There's all kind of fan sites devoted to them. And then 2 weeks later, he is kidnapped. And then 2 weeks later, it is revealed he is murdered by his kidnappers. All of this takes place in a span of 2 months. And it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago.
Okay. So apparently,
the other thing,
she's a Black Widow.
Well, the other thing you find out through your expanded ability, that Imbara is a very kind of important name around here. She is the daughter of an elf named King Rule Imbara, but King is not his first name. It is an underworld title.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
She is essentially the daughter of a gangster.
Daughter of the mafia boss.
Yes.
Thinking back,
Allegedly, in quotation marks.
okay, looking through the pictures and stuff, I take it he did not have the ring on before they got married, but after they got married.
Correct.
And that ring is obviously on his necrographic arm. So is the ring, when we've checked for magic or technology, is that ring somehow some way of being able to identify that he's still alive? Or basically it's because it's on the necrographic hand, it's basically recording that he's dead. So that device, maybe the ring or something's telling her that he's dead, that kind of thing, something along that line.
Yeah, you're guessing that the the ring is probably hacked initially. Probably hacked to read as alive until they needed it to be dead. And they put it on a dead hand since it had to be an implant. Or rather, you put it on a dead hand since it had to be an implant. You're guessing, yes. It's reading as dead because it's on the dead hand.
Okay. I will cobble all this together and put it together into a report and send this back to everybody and let them know what's going on. And
all
also talk about how she's been killing. Apparently this might be tied into why Geist was involved, because she's obviously been killing all her past husbands, and Geist is smart enough to not go into something like this and know that he's gonna probably get killed, because she's obviously been killing all these past husbands. So
Or
I
her
seen all
daddy
this,
was.
or her daddy. Well, a good point. Well, I was also kind of thinking she might be doing it because to get the good ratings that would give.
Mm-hmm.
On the sympathy. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
All
an
right.
extreme case of Munchausen by proxy.
But like,
Geist, as you are heading out from your successful necrograph, you are suddenly bombarded with a bunch of images via your HUD, revealing this story to you in a slow motion horror.
like the video doesn't show us killing him.
It shows what appears to be an assassination. Like
Like it's a doctored video.
it could be, yes,
Yeah.
or it probably has to be.
Yeah. Because he's
Or
freaking
we just
alive.
grabbed a random drow and blew his brains out, who kind of looks like me. I'll go up to Valgorth and retrieve my pistol from him.
Oh, shit, I lost in a bit.
I retrieve my pistol from him. I think we should get out of here to discuss this.
I mean, did we tell Geist?
Well,
Did you want to
Grimjack's-
amend that it wasn't to everyone?
Well, no, he's already said everyone. You got it now. I'm not backpedaling on this. You know.
Who said
Well, I mean-
everyone?
Grimjax did.
Oh, he did.
And I knew about this before. I knew that I had a fake name and that there was a dark elf that was seen with y'all and was accused of murder. I shared that with y'all last time we played.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The name you uncover, incidentally, is Ferlin Gride.
Yeah, that's it. Ferlin Gride.
Yeah, but you didn't know about the 100K
And
reward.
I think it was only 50,000 when I've discovered it.
Oh.
I did know about a reward though. Because it was relevant to this place. Right? That's what brought the memories back. Or that's
Which
what
ones?
prompted it, was coming back to this place.
No, it was
Oh.
hearing about it from the guy on the Dapper Mammoth, I believe.
Ah,
So yes, you two meet back up at the bar. An uneasy look, I guess, flows between you. And I assume you call Fanny 56.
Yeah.
All right.
if we're ready to go, are you still wanting to drink and maybe hope for a bar fight?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
People are fucking huge. Let's get out of here.
All right. Fanny 56 drops down as you guys head out into the streets, and the thing opens, or the cab opens, letting you in. You fly back with the same brisk breakneck pace back to the surgery center, where now that the night has kind of followed you that way, it is late evening.
So what do we think this is? Did we scam her with a fake marriage, or did I uncover the plot and then have you guys fake my death?
One of those two. I feel like it's the second one, probably.
Are you guys letting your other people in on this? Are you letting the Robot Underground people in on this? Or are you guys just talking in closed circuit?
Oh, I'm talking about it to the cab driver, Miss 56. Like, what do you think about all this?
Oh my God, you're Gride? Jeez, that's crazy.
I trust you not to turn us in for that massive amount of money.
Oh no, we all got our secrets here. And what am I gonna do with it? A paint job?
100K that go as far as it used to, I guess.
No. It's just like we all got our burdens to bear, kid. Your secret's safe with me, though. I don't know. You've been a lot of places today. Somebody's bound to figure it out.
And I did not forward this to the cat because I know
Okay.
the cat would turn him in a heartbeat.
That's the thing. It's not me that needs to be turned in. It's
You guys are the ones with the price.
Yeah.
Yes, but what would happen if you all of a sudden came back to life?
Yeah. Then her dad would kill me.
You guys hear a beep of your comm as Marcus calls you. His message comes up. It's an emergency, guys. Oh my God.
Yes, Marcus.
I just saw a broadcast where you guys were shooting the Drow Elf on TV. What are you people doing? And why did what's her face get so short? What's going on?
They did not shoot me, Marcus. I am still here.
No. Was it like a
Don't sound so this unhappy. Don't sound so damn he's alive.
Well, no, I mean, I worry about you. You guys bring me food and things.
You guys bring me stuff.
Speaking of, I made a little shopping list and
Doot. Hanging up.
cut the cat off.
I will pick up some cat narcotics while we're on the planet, though.
Narcotics. I brought you cat narcotic leaves. Enjoy.
No, but I'm very curious about this personally because you all have a price on your head, and I'm supposed to be dead. Well, not Geist, but Ferlin Gride. So-
you hear Andy say, I might have some answers for you in a day or so. Once I'll be able to make a a hyper stream connection to Vandal Star.
I would like to check the whatchamacallit, the infosphere, to see if she has ever paid out any reward to anyone for her previous husband's murders.
Good
All right.
question.
You do a quick search along these lines. You find websites where it's been comparing her dead husbands, and there's like different fandoms for different dead husbands of her. And but you find that the other dead husbands were all ruled accidents, so there was no payouts.
Where do I rank on the list of popularity?
You rank under number 2.
Oh,
yeah. There's been 5.
hey,
Not bad. Not a bad.
Not bad.
yeah, 2 out of 5. Who's ahead of me?
Looks like a sort of a big, muscular, the half-elf guy.
Oh,
She's got a thing for a particular kind of guy, and all the pictures of the guys are kind of like
dangerous
that.
looking? Dangerous looking.
Dangerous looking and elvish in some variety.
Look like they've been in slow motion fight scenes in those Twilight movies.
Yes. All right, I gotta pee. We'll come back and we'll do a little bit more after this.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We might split us into 2. Who knows? All right. Bye.
Bye.
Right back.
The mystery continues.